What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and today I am going to talk a little bit about WWE and their business practices and why, oh why, the internet has their panties in a wad over the way they're doing business, particularly when it comes to this quote unquote wrestling war. Well, we're in a wrestling war. There is no war. There is no war, okay? There is no war. And here's why. I've said it many times on this channel, and I will say it again. This is not like 1998, 1999, or 97, 98, when Nitro and Raw were in their heyday. Okay? This is not the old days where you have to choose one or the other. This is not the olden days where you would have to watch Raw and record Nitro or vice versa. This is not the days where you had to, make sure that you had tape. These are not the days where you relied on the Nitro replay when they replayed it at midnight or 11 to catch it. These are the days of DVRs. Now, by the time DVRs really came into prominence, I mean, they had TiVo back in 97, 98, 99, 2000. And even then, it was a very, very expensive, very, very niche, however you want to say it, product. It was fairly new technology. Wow, do you mean that I can record 3, 4 channels at once? All I got to do, I can use this TiVo box as a key. For those who don't know, TiVo was the very first DVR. Okay, they were the first major brand of DVR. You used to have to go to the store like a Best Buy or Sharper Image, or when they were around Circuit City, you could buy this box, which is essentially a $300 to $400 at the time hard drive that also would double as your cable box. You could hook your cable box into it or hook the coax directly into it, and it would act as a cable receiver. Okay? Nowadays, we don't know what cable boxes are. Yes, you needed a little box that connected through the coax cable that came into your house. Anyway, I'm not here to explain the history of television. But anyway, then you would have to, once you bought the $300 to $400 box, you would then have to subscribe to the $25 a month, depending on what you wanted, what features you wanted. It could cost upwards of $30 a month. And people are complaining about $30 now for this ESPN deal. But anyway, $30, $25, $30 a month. And you would get a certain number of hours on your TiVo, depending on what the hard drive had. You would also be able to choose maybe some additional channels. You would be able to choose how many programs you recorded at once. It was the original DVR. Now, DVRs, digital video recorders, are standard. Comcast still charges, I think they charge me $10 a month for mine. Okay? I could record up to 4 shows at once. I believe it's 3 or 4. And I could save up to 100 hours of programming. Delete them whenever I want. No harm, no foul. My point to all this is, we are in the age of DVR. Meaning I can record one show Tuesday night, watch it Wednesday morning. And it's not like they're all going head to head. Okay? Except for on the days where there's PLEs. And guess what? You record one, you watch the other. Well, Joe, what about the ratings? The ratings. Live sports ratings. Well, there's this thing called the P7 number. I believe it's P7. Meaning that as long as you watch that program within 7 days, it counts as a rating point. Now, granted, it's not the live rating point, which is what Meltzer and all those other idiots go by. But I would love to see what the the 7-day ratings are for Dynamite. I would love to see what the 7-day rating now for Raw. Netflix counts that in the top 10. By Tuesday, Wednesday, they're out of the top 10. Why? Everybody's gone back and watched it. That tells me that not many people are watching Raw live. So this whole thing about a wrestling war, when we now have the technology and we now have the ability to watch whatever we want, whenever we want, it's futile. It's stupid. We are not in a war. Now, if you want to go to the event live, like my friend Danny over there at World of Geekdom was talking about, yeah, then you're screwed because then you have to pick or choose. But what are you doing anyway? What are you going to do anyway? You're gonna go to the Monday Night Raw or the PLE on Saturday, and you're gonna set it to record, or you're gonna go back and watch it when you get home. Watch the replay of it. This is why people are saying pay-per-view is antiquated. Pay-per-view is a dinosaur. This is why I've been saying AEW needs to get their shit moved to Max ASAP and get what money they can for it. Because I'm not going to sit there and go to your event and then come home and plunk down $30 for it. Okay? Hopefully, Xfinity pulls their heads out of their butt and becomes one of the clearances for this ESPN deal. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to pay $30 a month. I might have to take to the seas, as they say, to watch these things. But I'm telling you right now, this is not a wrestling war. And even still, what does AEW do? When WWE wants to go head-to-head, okay, you can go head-to-head. We'll just move earlier in the day. We'll just move our stuff to the afternoon. Because we are on pay-per-view and we have that option to do so. So, this whole crap about, business practices and wrestling war, and they're trying to put them out of business. Good. That's what competition is. Walmart put Kmart out of business. Some could argue that online shopping had a big part to do with it as well. Walmart became big and put Kmart out of business. Do you see any Kmarts anywhere? No. I'm sorry. They McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King. Oh, you have the $5 meal? Well, we're going to have this. We're going to have this $5 meal, but we're going to offer more stuff with it. It's competition. This is what we wanted. Remember, we were all bitching back in 2010. There's no competition. There's no real competition. Well, now that there is a hint of some real competition, depending on who you ask, now we're sitting there going, oh no, it's bad business practices. You're in bed with Trump. You're in bed with this person. You bring back Brock Lesnar. All's fair in love and war, guys. All's fair in love and war. People, WCW used to give away the Raw results. We didn't sit there and go, that's a bad business practice. I mean, some people may have, but still. It actually backfired on them. Remember? Mick Foley's going to win their world title. That'll put some butts in the seats. Click, 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 click. 250,000 homes at least. Click, 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 click. We got to see this. Hell, WWE, maybe they should start giving away collision results. At least everything WWE does is live. Can't be spoiled. There's no reason why Collision should not be live every week, at least on Max. There's no reason for that. Anyway, this is not a wrestling war. And what happened to Tony Khan, huh? What happened to old Money Mark Khan? The snowman. I'm not Jim Crockett. I'm not going to take this shit lying down. People just want to see good matches. He sure does tuck his tail between his coke-filled legs And, oh, we'll just move our show back earlier. Now, they're hindered with Forbidden Door because Forbidden Door has to be off the air by 10 o'clock UK time because they have a curfew. They can't run past 10:30. But don't worry, the 8-hour-long extravaganza will still go down for your heart's content, and you'll see all your flippity flappity floppity flu. But he's not Jim Crockett. I'm not going to take this shit lying down. I'm not Jim Crockett. Well, you sure are acting like him. You sure are acting like him, dude. Because you're losing this war. If you want to call it a war, you're losing big time. Anyway, folks, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this a wrestling war going on? In an era where we have the right to pick and choose, are we really being screwed over? Are the fans really being screwed over when you could go back and watch everything? Well, Joe, there's spoilers. Stay off social media. Stay off social media. They do it. You do it for movies when the new Marvel movie comes out, or when or it used to be that way. Marvel's been slipping, but it used to be if you didn't want to know what happened. I mean, I stay off social media because I didn't know. I didn't want to know what happened with Endgame and Infinity War and all that good stuff. I didn't want to know what happened. Stayed off social media. Anyway, folks, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll see you down the road.